Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine for a moment you're traversing the absolute furthest reaches of explored space. Your crew anticipating a routine, even pleasant encounter.
Right.
You're expecting hospitality, maybe a much-needed break from the rigors of deep space. Instead, what you discover is utter devastation. An obliterated outpost, a single dying survivor, and the chilling realization that you've stumbled into a conflict far more complex than a simple act of aggression.
Yeah, it goes sideways fast.
And then, in a twist that just defies all logic and understanding, you're snatched away, transported to this desolate alien world, and forced into a brutal battle. A battle to the death against the very being you believe responsible for that destruction.
And all under the watchful eyes of these mysterious, all-powerful entities, the Metrons.
Exactly, who seem to have their own very specific agenda for interstellar peace. That's the high-stakes, mind-bending journey we're embarking on today. And believe me, it's going to profoundly reshape our understanding of what it means to be, well, civilized.
Indeed. And what initially seems like a very cut-and-dry case, unprovoked aggression, a clear mission of vengeance driving them forward. It quickly transforms into something far more nuanced. We're going to see how these conflicting perspectives, these unexpected interventions, and even this forced trial by combat compel everyone involved, especially Captain Kirk and his crew, to radically reevaluate their fundamental assumptions.
Assumptions about everything, right? Justice, conflict.
Exactly. The true nature of conflict and ultimately humanity's very place in the cosmos. Our sources for this deep dive are these really captivating audio excerpts that chronicle this extraordinary encounter. They offer us, a front row seat to a moment that profoundly reshapes understanding, not just for the characters, but for us too.
Our mission today, you, the listener, is to extract the crucial insights from this wild ride. We'll explore the initial crisis, the desperate fight for survival, then dive headfirst into that mind-bending intervention that forces everyone involved to reevaluate their assumptions. Justice, conflict, humanity's place.
It's a lot to unpack.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean when you peel back the layers? It's far more than just a space battle. It's a profound philosophical crucible.
Definitely.
To begin, let's set the scene for how this incredible series of events even started. The Starship Enterprise receives what seems like a truly delightful invitation. Almost domestic, the Cestus III.
Yeah, not your usual Starfleet briefing.
Not at all. The buzz on the bridge isn't about warp core fluctuations or unknown stellar phenomena. It's all about Commodore Travers, who by all accounts sets a good table.
The priorities.
Right. There's even this casual, almost longing query about whether he brought his personal chef along.
Because of course.
The implication is crystal clear. This is a rare opportunity for a good, non-reconstituted meal, a moment of anticipated pleasantry, maybe even a touch of luxury that few deep space explorers ever get to experience.
It's that little slice of home comforts, isn't it? Out there on the frontier.
Exactly. It's a moment where rank definitely hath its privileges.
And this deliberate buildup of these domestic, almost mundane expectations is incredibly striking, wouldn't you agree?
Totally.
You have the crew, especially Dr. McCoy, really looking forward to a moment of comfort and indulgence. A rare break from the usual routine, the often bland space food.
Standard rations, yeah.
It paints this vivid picture of a relaxed, privileged frontier outpost. Like an oasis of civilization and comfort at the very edge of Federation space. And this context makes the stark contrast with the reality they're about to face all the more jarring. Horrific, really.
And it hits them almost immediately.
Oh.
Brutal. Instantaneous.
It's also quite interesting looking back to note the Commodore's insistence that their tactical aides accompany the landing party.
Right, that detail.
At the time, it seemed merely cautious, for an isolated, exposed colony, maybe just an abundance of caution or wanting expert input on local flora and fauna, that sort of thing.
He seemed reasonable enough.
But, as we'll soon discover, it unknowingly sets the stage for something far more sinister. The captain himself even questions it, saying, I wonder why he's so insistent that our tactical aides come down.
And the answer given is just mundane, right? Extra advice for the colony.
Exactly. Innocuous. But in hindsight, it clearly hints at a deeper, unseen, and ultimately tragic purpose behind that seemingly friendly invitation.
And that devastating contrast hits them almost immediately, like you said. Brutal. One moment, they're discussing gourmet meals, relaxing. The next, it's a chilling, piercing red alert across the bridge. The captain's log entry confirms the horrifying truth with stark brevity. Captain's log, start date 3045.6. The Enterprise has responded to a call from Earth Observation Outpost on Cestus III. On landing, we have discovered that the outpost has been destroyed.
Just like that. Obliterated.
The entire outpost.
Yeah.
Reduced to rubble and ash. And in the midst of this devastation, they find a single, grievously injured survivor.
It's a complete and sudden shift from anticipation to absolute horror. The urgency of the situation is truly palpable in that moment. They locate this lone survivor who is in truly bad way. He's suffering from shock, radiation burns, internal injuries for certain.
Critical condition.
Absolutely. And the crucial directive from the captain is immediate and direct. Keep him alive, Bones. I want to know what's been happening here.
Needs answers.
Exactly. This command highlights the immense challenge of extracting reliable, coherent information from someone who's traumatized, dying. This individual is the sole potential witness to this catastrophe, the only one who might be able to shed light on what happened.
His survival is paramount.
Right. Not just for humanitarian reasons, but to understand the nature of this attack. The Enterprise has gone from arriving for a friendly dinner to confronting this scene of utter devastation, requiring immediate crisis management, information gathering under extreme duress.
A stark reminder that even in the future, witness testimony is critical. That human element.
Very true.
And as if the sheer destruction wasn't enough to contend with, almost immediately after discovering the lone survivor, a Second Life reading pops up on their sensors.
Oh yeah, this part.
And crucially, it's definitively not warm-blooded living creatures, but not human.
Alien contact, but not the kind they expected.
Not at all. Before they can even fully process the implications of that unidentified life sign, the Enterprise landing party comes under direct, unprovoked attack from an unidentified ship.
It's just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Discovery, mystery, then immediate violent confrontation.
They've gone from being rescuers to being targets in the blink of an eye.
What's truly striking here is the rapid and brutal escalation. From a humanitarian rescue mission, it instantly transforms into a full-blown combat scenario.
Yeah.
The landing party is trapped on the surface.
What, they can't get out?
The Enterprise tries to beam them up, but the alien vessel's advanced capabilities are immediately terrifyingly apparent. We can't beam you up. I've just rigged up defensive screens.
So their transporters are useless.
Completely neutralized. This indicates an adversary with highly sophisticated technology capable of disrupting Starfleet's primary means of transport and defense. Their transporters, a fundamental part of how they operate, are just off.
That's a huge problem.
Massive. And the captain's immediate order from the ground to the ship, keep those screens up, worry about us when the ship is safe, highlights the immediate, desperate strategic priorities.
Protect the ship first, even if it means sacrificing the away team.
Protecting the vessel above all else becomes the paramount concern. It's a chilling indication that they're dealing with a highly capable, incredibly aggressive, and technologically advanced force, one that fundamentally challenges Starfleet's presumed superiority.
So with the Enterprise under attack and basically unable to beam up the landing party, the ground team finds themselves in a really dire situation.
Pinned down.
Hopelessly outmatched, outnumbered, and outgunned. The report from the surface is stark. They are hopelessly outnumbered here, Captain, with those disruptors versus our hand phasers.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Overwhelming force against limited resources, a desperate holding action against what seems like inevitable defeat.
But this is where the captain's tactical thinking really comes into play, right? Even in the middle of chaos.
Exactly. This is where his extraordinary tactical mind shines, even amidst the utter chaos and overwhelming odds. He doesn't just panic. His mind immediately shifts to problem solving.
Okay, what can we do?
Right. He recalls the precise layout of the outpost, specifically remembering the arsenal about 100 yards in that direction.
Ah, potential equalizer.
Potentially. This quick assessment, even when surrounded and seemingly outgunned, demonstrates his willingness to risk it, to gamble on finding some semblance of a fighting chance, a way to level the playing field or at least improve their defensive position.
Got to try something.
The order for flanking maneuvers and suppressive fire, even without clear visual contact, even if you don't see them, keep your heads down, underscores the desperate, almost blind nature of the engagement.
Firing blind, basically.
Pretty much. He acknowledges his own frustration, a very human response, saying, I can't even get at them. But his expert crew member, ever logical, Spock, offers the counterpoint. Nor can they add us at the moment. Not unless they move their original position, that intervening high ground.
Using the terrain.
It's a testament to quick thinking, adaptability, and exploiting every scrap of environmental advantage in a battle they are clearly losing. It's about surviving, not winning at this point.
Meanwhile, back on the ship, the Enterprise is equally engaged in a desperate struggle for survival. They're returning fire, but their phasers,
Yeah, their main gun.
the Federation's primary energy weapons, are proving negative against this deflector screen of the alien ship.
Which is terrifying for a Starfleet vessel.
Absolutely. This is an alarming, almost unprecedented situation. Their phasers, which can, carve through asteroids and neutralize most known threats, are utterly useless.
It speaks volumes about the unknown alien's defensive capabilities, a level of technology that immediately signals a formidable, perhaps even superior, adversary.
So this forces the captain's hand, escalating the conflict dramatically as the decision is quickly made to arm photon torpedoes.
A measure typically reserved for major existential threats. They're pulling out the big guns.
Because they have to.
And the unknown nature of the attacking vessel adds yet another profound layer of challenge. It doesn't correspond with any configuration we're familiar with.
No intel. Nothing.
Right. Starfleet has no intelligence on its vulnerabilities, its power source, its strategic capabilities. Plus, our communications are being interfered with, further isolating the Enterprise, making coordinated action incredibly difficult.
They're cut off and fighting blind against an unknown enemy.
Precisely. The captain's clear, high-stakes directive to the ship from the surface: do anything you think necessary to protect the ship. Leave or maximum warp, anything, reveals the extreme pressure.
Permission to run.
Exactly, the lengths they're willing to go to survive. It's a stark reminder that even with advanced technology, survival can boil down to desperate measures when facing an unknown and seemingly unstoppable enemy. This isn't just a battle. It's a fight for the very existence of the flagship.
But despite arming the photon torpedoes and launching them, they too prove negative.
Unbelievable. Nothing works.
The alien ship's defenses are simply impenetrable. This leaves the Enterprise with no choice but to execute a tactical retreat, warping out of orbit. It looks like a defeat, doesn't it? A surrender to overwhelming force.
But this withdrawal should absolutely not be framed as a defeat. Not really.
How so?
Rather, it's a calculated, maybe even brilliant strategic move to preserve the ship, prepare for pursuit, live to fight another day,
Okay, tactical retreat.
And what's truly fascinating here is that the alien vessel also withdraws, activating its transporters almost simultaneously.
Huh. So they both back off.
It suggests a shared, if unspoken, understanding of engagement and disengagement in interstellar combat. Maybe a common tactical doctrine, or just mutual recognition of a stalemate.
Interesting.
The captain's immediate order, even after being forced into retreat, is clear and resolute. Lock onto the alien, Mr. Sulu. I don't want to lose her.
So the chase is on.
Immediately. This sets the stage for the next critical phase of this encounter, a relentless, desperate chase. As the log supplement states, Captain's log supplement, we have beamed back to the Enterprise and immediately set out in pursuit of the alien vessel. It appears to be headed towards a largely unexplored section of the galaxy.
Into the unknown.
The chase is on, but the destination is unknown, and the motives of their enemy remain a complete mystery. It's a pursuit driven by a desperate need for answers, and perhaps, definitely, for retribution.
So the Enterprise is now in hot pursuit, driven by this profound desire for justice, or maybe just vengeance, for the horrors they witnessed on Cestus III. Back on the Enterprise, the dying survivor provides the immediate, visceral justification for this relentless pursuit. He recounts the horrifying attack in chilling detail.
Yeah, this is grim.
Describing how the aliens knocked out our phaser batteries with their first salvo. From then on, we were helpless. He recounts begging for mercy, pleading about women and children, but the attackers wouldn't listen. They didn't let up for a moment.
It's a truly chilling account of a brutal, unprovoked massacre. Paints a clear picture of remorseless aggression.
Hard to argue with that account.
And what's truly compelling here is the survivor's absolute certainty about the nature of the attack and the alien's malicious intent. He explicitly states, "No. Message came from us, Catherine," directly implying that the Enterprise's initial call to Cestus III,
The one inviting them,
was faked by the attackers. For him, there's no doubt. It was a deliberate trap, designed to lure a Federation vessel into range.
Makes sense given the outcome.
His conclusion about the motive is equally stark and emotionally charged. The Enterprise is the only protection in this section of the Federation. Destroy the Enterprise and everything is wide open.
A strategic strike, then.
That's how he sees it. This provides a clear, seemingly indisputable justification for aggressive pursuit and retribution. He even confirms, "They hit us a full day before you got there, Captain," reinforcing the premeditated and cruel nature of the attack.
So the timing wasn't random.
According to him, no. It's a narrative that paints the aliens as unprovoked, genocidal aggressors, leaving little room for alternative interpretations, at least in the crew's initial understanding.
Based on the survivor's harrowing account and the utter destruction on Cestus III, the captain is completely convinced. He's certain of the aliens' hostile intent and the necessity of immediate action.
Yeah, he's made up his mind.
He declares with absolute certainty, "I have all the proof I need on Cestus III." For him, this isn't just an attack. It's a clear and immediate invasion that demands a swift, decisive, and punitive response. His conviction is total.
The captain's resolve in this moment is truly unshakable. He views himself not just as a Starfleet captain, but as the only policeman around and a crime has been committed.
Taking the law into his own hands, essentially.
Pretty much. His immediate goal is not merely retribution for the past, but crucially, to prevent any future attacks. He sees a direct link. If the aliens go unpunished, they'll be back attacking other Federation installations.
Deterrence?
Exactly. This stance emphasizes a strict, almost black-and-white, punitive approach to maintaining order and security in a dangerous frontier. Unpunished aggression could lead to a cascading series of attacks, destabilize the entire region.
High stakes.
He makes his clarity abundantly clear, stating, "Do I make myself clear? Very clear, Captain. I'm delighted, Mr. Spurk." It's a definitive position, rooted deeply in the perceived necessity of force and swift justice in the vacuum of deep space. There's no room for hesitation or doubt in his mind at this point.
But the expert, in this case, Mr. Spock, offers a different perspective, doesn't he? A logical dissent to the captain's emotionally charged certainty.
Always the voice of logic.
Despite the horrific details of the massacre, Spock points out, with typical Vulcan calm, "Not necessarily, sir. Several possible explanations coming."
Which, given the circumstances, is a brave thing to say.
You think. The captain, driven by emotion and the recent trauma, immediately counters, "How can you explain a massacre like that?" It's a clear clash between righteous anger and cold logic.
Right, and this is a critical point that forces us, the listeners, to ask, how do we balance that understandable raw desire for retribution with the logical, pragmatic need for comprehensive understanding? Especially when operating in uncharted territories with unknown species.
Good question.
What's truly fascinating here is Spock's consistent emphasis on logic and considering alternative viewpoints. Even in the face of such profound emotional distress and perceived existential threat, his statement, "The destruction of the alien vessel will not help that colony," cuts right to the heart of the matter.
Yeah, what does vengeance actually achieve?
It directly questions the actual utility, maybe even the morality, of vengeance. While the immediate human impulse is to punish, Spock suggests that such actions may not solve the underlying problem, prevent future conflicts, or even provide true justice. It's a profound call for critical thinking, urging a deeper look beyond the initial emotionally charged narrative that seems so simple on the surface. It challenges us to consider if there might be another, more complex truth lurking beneath.
This clash of narratives, this fundamental difference in approach, it really sets the stage for what happens next, doesn't it? This game-changing intervention.
Absolutely. The tension is palpable.
The Enterprise is in hot pursuit, pushing its engines to their absolute limit. They're at warp 6, then warp factor 7, then even warp factor 8.
Really pushing the envelope.
Plunging deeper and deeper into a largely unexplored section of the galaxy. Lieutenant Dupal reports, "Virtually nothing, Captain. No records of any explorations."
Off the map, completely.
They are truly going where no Federation vessel has gone before. A true leap into the unknown.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, venturing into such uncharted space carries immense implications. The mention of rumors of certain strange signals on subspace channels?
Space ghosts.
Well, unscientific rumors only, more like space legends. It suggests a realm of the unknown where conventional rules might not apply, a place where ancient legends might hold more truth than scientific charts.
Entering mythic territory.
Kind of. This is the stuff of cosmic mystery, pushing the boundaries of their scientific understanding. The experts' warning about sustained warp 7 speed will be dangerous foreshadows the unprecedented events to come.
They're risking the ship itself.
Absolutely, highlighting the immense physical risks they are taking, both for the ship and the crew. As Spock puts it bluntly, "We'll either catch them or blow up, Captain. They may be faster than we are."
Wow.
This intense, almost reckless pursuit into the unknown primes both ships for an encounter far beyond their wildest imaginings, an encounter that will redefine their understanding of power and civilization.
And then, without warning, it happens. Suddenly, both the Enterprise and the alien ship are scanned by some unknown force, then inexplicably slow down and then stop, dead in space.
Just stop.
The Enterprise crew reports, with a mixture of disbelief and awe. It's impossible, but we cannot move. It's a complete, baffling, and frankly terrifying immobilization. All their technology, their warp drives, their thrusters, utterly useless.
What's absolutely fascinating here is the sheer overwhelming power of this unknown force. All propulsion systems read 0. Weapons are inoperative, yet life systems and basic functions remain normal.
So it's not like they're damaged.
Exactly. This isn't damage or a technical malfunction. It's a complete, unidentifiable neutralization of their most fundamental capabilities. The fact that this power emanates from that solar system this far out, that's impossible, underscores just how profound and unexpected this intervention is.
Embrace the laws of physics as they know them.
Right. Defying all known laws of physics and interstellar travel. This display of power signifies a vastly superior civilization, one capable of transcending known physics and effectively turning off the capabilities of Starfleet's most advanced vessel with, a mere thought.
And then they reveal themselves.
The reveal comes with chilling simplicity when the entity states, "No, sir," and unidentifiable are, "We are the Metrons." This isn't an attack, it's an intervention, a judgment from a being of unimaginable power and an entirely different order of existence.
An immediate, undeniable demonstration of their cosmic authority.
Totally.
The Metrons introduce themselves, making it unequivocally clear that they are behind this astonishing intervention. They waste no time in declaring their judgment. Both ships have come into our space on a mission of violence. This is not permissible.
Laying down the law. Their law.
Then they pass an even more chilling assessment, stating, with cold, analytical detachment, "Yet we have analyzed you and have learned that your violent tendencies are inherent. So be it. We will control them. We will resolve your conflict in the way most suited to your limited mentalities."
Ouch. Limited mentalities. That's harsh.
It's a declaration that is chillingly detached, almost like a scientist observing primitive insects.
Right. And this immediately raises a profound question for us to consider. Is this true justice from a higher power, or is it merely an alien form of conflict resolution based on their own, perhaps limited or skewed understanding of other species?
Is their way actually better?
What's truly fascinating here is the Metron's detached, almost clinical judgment of both humanity and the Gorn. They offer a recording-translating device to chronicle the context.
Like it's a lab experiment.
Suggesting a purely scientific, observational approach to what they perceive as primitive, inherent behavior. The terms of their decree are stark, absolute, and brutal. The winner of the contest will be permitted to go his way unharmed. The loser, along with his ship, shall be destroyed in the interests of peace.
Peace through annihilation. Seems contradictory.
It does, and this is emphatically not a negotiation. It's an unyielding decree. There will be no discussion. It is done. They are forcing a resolution based on their perception of the limited mentalities of these warring species, a trial by combat that feels like a barbaric solution from a supposedly advanced entity.
Yeah, it's pretty primitive itself, isn't it?
One that values order above all else, even if it means annihilation. It's a test designed to eliminate, not to understand.
And just like that, without any further negotiation or even a moment to truly process the Metron's decree, the captain is whisked away.
Poof, gone.
Instantly transported to the surface of this desolate asteroid. There, weaponless and utterly vulnerable, he immediately finds himself face to face with the Gorn captain.
Talk about being thrown in the deep end.
He quickly recognizes the brutal truth. He has no chance, barehanded, against this immensely powerful alien. It's a raw, immediate test of survival, stripping away all technological advantages and reducing the conflict to its most primitive form.
The Metron's promise that the planet provides the raw material to construct weapons is a critical detail here, but it's met with the captain's initial, very human frustration and despair.
Understandable. What is he supposed to do with rocks?
Right. He surveys his immediate surroundings. Very little here. Scrub brush, rocks, an abundance of mineral deposits, but no weapons in the conventional sense. He even discovers a large deposit of diamonds, but too small to be useful as a weapon.
Diamonds. Useless.
An incredible fortune in stones, yet I would trade them all for a hand phaser or a good, solid club. This immediate scarcity forces a profound shift from reliance on advanced Starfleet technology
Phasers, torpedoes.
to the most fundamental principles of engineering, chemistry, and pure ingenuity. The challenge isn't just to fight, but to innovate with what's available, no matter how rudimentary it might seem.
It's a battle of wits as much as strength.
Exactly, forcing a total re-evaluation of what constitutes a weapon.
The captain, even amidst this life-or-death struggle, immediately begins to observe his adversary, the Gorn, with his keen tactical mind.
Always analyzing.
He notes its obvious physical attributes. It's large, reptilian, and immensely strong, having withstood attacks from me that would have killed a human being.
Tough opponent.
But, crucially, he also recognizes its primary weakness. Though strong, he's not agile. The agility and I hope the cleverness is mine. He's looking for that critical asymmetry, that edge.
What's truly compelling here is the captain's immediate, visceral, instinctive revulsion to reptiles.
Yeah.
A very deeply ingrained human prejudice, right?
That comes through.
However, he consciously forces himself to overcome it, to intellectualize and rationalize. He reminds himself that this is an intelligent, highly advanced individual, the captain of a starship like myself, undoubtedly a dangerously clever opponent.
That's a key moment, isn't it? Seen past the appearance.
Absolutely. It's a key moment of internal struggle, where he actively overcomes ingrained prejudice and recognizes a shared intelligence, a shared status, even in the face of an alien adversary intent on his destruction.
Respecting the enemy.
It's an internal battle for empathy and respect that prepares him to treat the Gorn not merely as a monster to be eliminated, but as a legitimate, intelligent opponent deserving of strategic consideration.
Okay.
This ability to compartmentalize and think beyond instinct is a hallmark of truly advanced intelligence.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. The absolute game changer.
The plot twist?
The Metrons, in a surprising, almost sadistic twist, allow communication between the combatants. It transforms this physical battle into a verbal one for a crucial moment.
And the Gorn drops a bombshell.
Totally. The Gorn's stunning claim completely upends everything Kirk and his crew thought they knew about the massacre on Cestus III. The Gorn declares, with chilling conviction, "You were intruding. You established an outpost in our space."
Whoa, hold on.
And then, mirroring the survivor's earlier accusation back on the Enterprise, the Gorn states, "You butchered helpless human beings." The Gorn views the Federation's actions, not its own, as unprovoked aggression, seeing its attack as just retribution. "You destroyed invaders as I shall destroy you."
The entire premise of their vengeance is suddenly, dramatically inverted. Who's the aggressor now?
Exactly.
This revelation completely flips the initial narrative presented by the dying survivor. The experts, Mr. Spock's logical response back on the Enterprise, is immediate and profound. A clear recognition of the intellectual earthquake this causes.
What does he say?
Can that be true? Was Cestus III an intrusion on their space? It may well be possible, Doctor. We know very little about that section of the galaxy. Then we could be on the wrong. Perhaps that is something best decided by diplomats.
Diplomacy, not destruction.
Right. This highlights the profound danger of assuming one's own perspective is the only truth and the critical importance of diplomacy and understanding rather than immediate retaliatory retribution.
Makes you think.
The Enterprise crew, previously convinced of their absolute moral high ground, are now faced with the deeply uncomfortable possibility that they, or the Federation, were the aggressors all along. This raises an incredibly important question for you, the listener. How often do real-world conflicts arise not from outright malice, but from fundamental misunderstandings?
Misunderstandings of territory, intentions, culture.
Exactly. It underscores the need for context and the perils of relying on a single-source narrative, however convincing it might seem.
With this new, unsettling information swirling in his mind, the captain is still desperately searching for a weapon. For anything that could give him an edge.
Back to basics. Survival mode.
He's recalling fragmented memories.
Yeah.
Something about sulfur, something very old, something, if only I could remember. He's drawing on deep, almost primal human knowledge.
Digging deep into history.
And back on the Enterprise, the expert, Spock, watching through the Metron's feed and leveraging his vast knowledge, makes the crucial connection. He's guiding Kirk from afar.
The ultimate remote assistance.
He prompts him. First, potassium nitrate. And now, if you can find some sulfur and a charcoal deposit or ordinary coal.
Gunpowder.
Yes. This is the true aha moment.
What's truly fascinating here is the recognition of the basic elements needed for gunpowder, a technology considered utterly primitive in Starfleet's advanced era.
Like caveman tech compared to phasers.
It's the conceptual leap back to a truly primitive canon. This isn't about advanced phasers or photon torpedoes. It's about applying fundamental chemistry and engineering principles.
Using what's there.
And the connection to the diamonds he found earlier, dismissed as too small to be useful, is brilliant. Diamonds, the hardest known substance. Impelled by sufficient force, they would make formidable projectiles.
Diamond bullets.
Yeah.
Okay.
This segment powerfully demonstrates that true ingenuity isn't solely about having access to the most advanced technology, but about applying fundamental scientific principles and creatively utilizing any available resources, no matter how rudimentary they might seem.
Resourcefulness wins.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most effective and surprising solutions are found by looking back to basics, by stripping away the technological layers and understanding the core science. It's a testament to human adaptability and the power of knowledge across eras.
So he builds this primitive cannon, defeats the Gorn, and then comes the pivotal moment. A choice that defies every expectation, every instinct of vengeance.
The climax of the trial.
The captain has the Gorn defeated. He has the opportunity for the ultimate act of retribution, the very thing he'd been pursuing relentlessly since Cestus III.
Justice or vengeance is right there.
But in that instant, faced with the helpless Gorn, he chooses differently. He stands over his fallen adversary and utters the words that will change everything. No, I won't kill you. Maybe you thought you were protecting yourself when you attacked the outpost. No, I won't kill him. Do you hear? You'll have to get your entertainment someplace else. He even calls out the Metrons directly. You're a metronome. He refuses to play their brutal game to its ultimate conclusion.
This raises an incredibly profound question. Why did he choose mercy in that moment?
Yeah, why? After everything.
This act truly transcends the Metrons' simplistic brute strength against troop strength rule and the limited mentalities they so readily attributed to both species.
It breaks their rules.
It's an act that fundamentally redefines the parameters of the conflict and perhaps even the very nature of civilization itself. Kirk chooses compassion over raw retribution, even when vengeance is well within his grasp and, by his earlier understanding, seemingly justified.
It's a huge shift.
This moment challenges the very premise of the Metrons' trial, proving that there are higher forms of intelligence and advancement than merely physical or technological superiority. It's not just a plot point, it's a profound display of evolved thinking, a moral victory that completely blindsides the Metrons.
He chose to be human, even in the most alien of arenas.
Well put.
And this extraordinary act of mercy has an immediate, utterly surprising and profound effect on the Metrons themselves. The Metron appears, but not as the inscrutable, almost formless entity they first encountered.
Oh, how does it look?
Instead, it takes on a surprisingly youthful, almost boy-like appearance. The captain even remarks, "You seem more like a boy," despite the Metron revealing its age as approximately 1,500 of your Earth years old.
That's unexpected, a softening. A visual representation of their reevaluation, maybe?
Maybe.
What's truly fascinating here is the Metron's profound, almost disbelieving surprise at Kirk's actions. It explicitly states, "You surprised me, Captain.
How?"
By sparing your helpless enemy, who surely would have destroyed you, you demonstrated the advanced trait of mercy, something we hardly expected."
Mercy as an advanced trait. Interesting framing.
Isn't it? This moment isn't just about Kirk. It fundamentally challenges the Metron's own ingrained assumptions about humanity and the perceived inevitability of violence in what they considered primitive species.
They got it wrong about humans. Or at least about Kirk.
Their conclusion, based on this single unexpected act, is monumental. Therefore, you will not be destroyed. It would not be civilized.
They wouldn't be civilized if they destroyed him after he showed mercy.
Exactly. This redefines what civilized truly means, not just from humanity's perspective, but even from the perspective of this vastly advanced civilization. It suggests that true advancement isn't solely about power, knowledge, or even intellectual might. It's about the capacity for compassion, restraint, and ethical evolution.
It forces the Metrons to rethink their own, seemingly absolute judgments.
Big time.
Despite this incredible recognition, this profound acknowledgement of a truly advanced trait, the Metrons' parting words are still a curious blend of acknowledgement, maybe admiration, mixed with a touch of cosmic condescension.
Yeah, there's a but coming, isn't there?
Pretty much. They tell the captain, "There is hope for you. Perhaps in several thousand years, your people and mine shall meet to reach an agreement. You are still half savage, but there is hope."
Half savage, wow. A backhanded compliment if ever there was one.
Right. A promise of a distant future, but still a judgment on humanity's current state.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this statement carries incredibly complex implications. While it offers a glimmer of hope for humanity's future in the wider cosmos, it simultaneously labels humanity as half-savage.
Still got a long way to go, apparently.
This implies a significant, millennia-long journey of ethical and social evolution still lies ahead for our species before we can truly be considered an equal among such advanced beings. What does this hope truly signify? Is it the potential for humanity to fully shed its savage tendencies?
Or maybe learn to control them better.
Or perhaps to integrate them in a more civilized and constructive way? This provides a grand, multi-millennial perspective on species development. It suggests that humanity is on a long, arduous, but ultimately promising path towards a higher form of existence as judged by this elder, immensely powerful species.
It questions our own definitions of progress and reminds us that our journey is far from over. The captain has returned to the Enterprise, but the Metrons aren't quite done with their cosmic display of power, nor their final lesson.
One last trick up their sleeve.
A big one. The ship isn't where it's supposed to be at all. The expert, Mr. Spock, reports with characteristic precision, but an undertone of genuine bewilderment. It's impossible, but very serious. He lists star systems. Is over there when it should be here in Canopus and Arcanus, where all of a sudden we're clear across the galaxy 500 parsecs from where we are.
500 parsecs? That's immense.
Don't try and figure it out, Mr. Sulu. Just plot a course for us back to Cestus III. The sheer scale of this relocation is almost incomprehensible.
This final, overwhelming display of Metron power is a truly profound moment. Relocating an entire Starfleet vessel across 500 parsecs, which for context is roughly 1,600 light years.
In an instant.
In an instant. It underscores their immense capabilities and reinforces humanity's comparatively limited state. This isn't just a show of force. It's a final, undeniable reminder of the vastness of the universe and the existence of powers far, far beyond humanity's current comprehension or technological reach.
A final lesson in humility.
Right. And a demonstration of their absolute control, reminding humanity of its true place in the cosmic hierarchy, even after demonstrating an advanced trait that impressed them. It's a mic drop moment, if you will, on a galactic scale.
As the Enterprise sets course back to charted space, the captain is asked by his expert, Mr. Spock, about what exactly happened down on that asteroid, maybe seeking a logical summation of the illogical events.
Trying to make sense of it all.
The captain gives an enigmatic response, almost a profound reflection on humanity's dual nature. We're a most promising species, Mr. Spock, as predators go. Did you know that?
Promising predators, that's a phrase.
It's a statement that seems contradictory at first glance, but carries immense weight after what they've just experienced.
Unpacking this seemingly contradictory phrase, a promising predator, is absolutely fascinating. It suggests that perhaps the Metrons, in their detached analysis, saw humanity's inherent capacity for aggression, our predatory nature not as inherently evil, but as a raw, powerful, fundamental energy.
Energy that could be used for good or bad.
An energy that, when tempered by emergent traits like mercy, compassion, and ingenuity, could potentially be channeled into something truly advanced or unique. Perhaps for vast exploration or for the defense of the innocent rather than for pure destruction.
An interesting potential.
As Spock, ever the realist, Riley remarks, I have frequently had my doubts. This allows for a deeper philosophical discussion about the nature of intelligence, survival, and the path to becoming a truly civilized species.
Is it about eliminating our predatory nature entirely?
Or learning to master it, to wield it constructively, and perhaps even elevate it to something more profound than mere survival? Big questions.
The captain then muses, perhaps more to himself than to Spock. And maybe in 1,000 years or so, we'll be able to prove it. Never mind, Mr. Spock. Doesn't make much sense to me either.
Still processing it himself.
Then, a final instruction that grounds them back in their mission. Take us back to where we're supposed to be, Mr. Sulu. W factor 1.
Slow and steady. Back to reality.
Warp factor 1. 1,000 years, Captain. Well, that gives us a little time. A long horizon for humanity's potential.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the episode concludes by perfectly encapsulating the tension between that immediate, almost primal impulse for retribution and the profound long-term potential for understanding, ethical growth, and genuine interspecies cooperation.
From vengeance to hope.
The Metrons forced a brutal resolution, yes, but in doing so, they also gave humanity a profound long-term challenge and a grand goal to strive for. It suggests that complex interspecies problems often require more than simple answers, more than just victory or defeat.
Need nuance, understanding.
It posits that understanding opposing viewpoints, alongside developing unexpected, even primitive traits like mercy, can lead to entirely new possibilities for the future. The 1,000 years is not just a timeline, it's a philosophical horizon, a testament to humanity's ongoing, evolving journey toward what it truly means to be a civilized species in the vast, complex cosmos.
It's a powerful and open-ended journey for us all.
Definitely.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We began this deep dive with what seemed like a clear-cut act of aggression, a pursuit of vengeance, driven by what appeared to be undeniable truths.
Seems so simple at first.
But we quickly uncovered conflicting narratives, forced to confront the uncomfortable possibility that our initial assumptions were flawed. And ultimately, we witnessed a profound lesson in mercy that surprised even an omnipotent, judging species. So what does this all mean for you? When faced with conflict in your own life, whether personal or global, how do you decide whether to seek retribution, understanding, or maybe a completely different, unexpected path that defies conventional expectations?
It's a tough balance, and this raises another important question that echoes through our own lives. If an advanced civilization judged us based on a single, isolated incident, a snapshot of our actions, how would we truly fare?
That's a sobering thought.
And what primitive traits might we still possess that, surprisingly, could be the very key to our advancement, as Kirk's extraordinary act of mercy suggested? It challenges us to reflect on our own inherent capacity for both aggression and compassion.
And how we choose between them.
Exactly. And how we consciously choose to wield those fundamental aspects of our nature to shape our future.
Something to chew on until next time, when we take another deep dive into the fascinating sources you bring us. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep being curious.